a lot of people use the idea that certain muscles recover faster than others, and they usually use this for smaller muscle groups like your arm, like your biceps, triceps, delts. So because of that, you should train them more frequently and consequently go to the gym more frequently. When in reality, I would actually say it's the opposite. Some muscle groups might recover faster than others. Other muscle groups recover slower. So in reality, the most conservative approach would be to wait until all of those muscles that you have recently trained are recovered before you train again. That way, you're fully recovered and adapted before you train again. If my biceps are recovered, but the rest of my body's not, and I go and train, guess what? I just added more fatigue to the recovery process of my entire body. So you got to think of recovery not just at a muscular level, but at an entire body, right? A systemic level. So for me, it's easy to gauge because I train my whole body on one day, and then I wait a week before I train again. But if you're gonna split it up, then since you're choosing to do a split routine, you are inherently agreeing and subscribing to the idea that some muscle groups are gonna feel a little bit left behind, right? You're not going to train them as optimally, as frequently, right? You're not gonna have trained them all as frequently. Some muscle groups you have to skip over before you come back to them in your split routine. Now, if you're training every day or close to it, your muscle groups are not fully recovering. They're not fully adapting. Look at your logbook. Are you progressing every workout, right? Are you matching or progressing every workout? Because you should be able to do that. And if you're not, you need to ask some questions about your training. And one of those questions might be, am I training my upper body while my legs are still trashed and still recovering? Because that fatigue is systemic. Your whole body, if you maxed squats and did leg day one day, do you think you're gonna be able to do your max bench the next day, the very next day, your actual max? And that's not gonna be your actual max. You can maybe do 90% of your 1 rep max or something like that, but you're not gonna be able to get the same reps with the same weight if parts of your body are still very much not recovered yet. So you actually should be waiting a longer amount of time, right? You wanna err on the side of recovery. Why are we erring on the side of training frequently, right? Like this is a hurry up offense, like you're trying to rush this. You can't rush muscle growth. You can't force it to happen faster than it's going to happen. And training earlier than that process has already happened, you're just digging yourself a deeper hole before you've recovered yet. Or you think you're training to failure, but you're really not, because you're never fully recovered enough to train hard enough to true failure. So this is my take on training splits and frequencies. You should not be training as soon as the smallest, most recovered muscle group is ready to go. You should be waiting until all the muscles that you had recently trained are recovered before you train again. This is the way to actually adapt and actually make progress. You could train that small muscle group again when it's ready, but now you just contributed to more systemic fatigue, and it's gonna be there when you go to train your larger muscle groups eventually, right? So, I've done different splits in the past. I've done some push-pull legs. With high intensity training though, I usually split the body into 2 workouts, or right now I'm doing full body workouts. So I'm not splitting it up because I need about 7 days-ish to recover from a training session. So really, whether I did 5 exercises or 9 exercises, either way, I have to pretty much wait a week before I'm ready enough to try to progress again. So I might as well just pack on the full body and then wait. So that's what's working best for me. For you, it might be something different, but just know that it's okay if some muscles are kind of stagnant for a few days, right? It's okay. It's not the end of the world They're going to be trained eventually, right? We're all on the path toward reaching our genetic limit. We're all on the path of getting those results, right? You're going to get the same results in, say, 10 years of doing this. Doesn't matter what split you chose, right? Doesn't matter what volume or frequency you chose. We're all going to get about the same results eventually. Not in terms of looking the same way, but just the best that our body is capable of giving us. And so it's important to understand that and to go at this with patience, not rushing the process, not trying to get more sessions in when you're not recovered yet and you're not actually progressing anyway. You're just trying to stimulate the muscle. You think, if I do another workout, I stimulated more growth. Well, your body's still recovering from the last stimulation, right? It doesn't need another assault on its recovery process. You want to assault a fresh muscle, okay? A muscle that's recovered and ready. You can dig way deeper and push way harder on a muscle that's actually recovered and fresh than some muscle that's like barely ready and you're like, I'm going to the gym, I'm gonna hit it again. We're not trying to beat up our bodies, we're trying to stimulate it for adaptation. So hopefully you learned something from this video. Instead of taking the shortest time span between workouts, try taking the longest time span that you can between workouts, so that you could actually have at least a day or two in between workouts where you actually feel like a normal person, where you don't feel beat up and tired and sluggish. You know, that's what I want to do. When I spend out my recovery days, I want to have at least a day where at the end, right before I train, that I'm like, you know what, I feel good today. I might have been tired all week, I might have been this and that, but actually today I feel like a normal human being. So get to that point, then you know it's time to train again, right? You desire to train again, you're ready to put that focus and effort into it. So hopefully this helped you guys understand frequency. It's not that important because we're all gonna get there eventually, right? We're all on the same path. You're gonna get there in 10 years anyway. So just relax, hit your training sessions, be consistent, be dedicated, but don't think you're rushing the process. Don't think getting 2 workouts in a week instead of 1, it's gonna get you there twice as fast, because your body can only still recover so much from a session. That'd be like, why don't sprinters sprint, 5 days a week? Because they'd get there faster than if they get faster than if they sprinted twice a week. It's like, you can only handle so much sprinting, and your body's only gonna adapt at a certain rate. So just find that rate, accept it, let your body recover, stop damaging your body, right? Just stay on the positive end of the adaptation curve of training.